Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Life Behind the Sticks, and today we've got a special one. You know that I've recently got a PS4 and I've been playing around with all kinds of settings and trying to figure out a whole lot of things for you to improve your gaming experience if you have a PlayStation. And today what we're going to do, you can see we have some God of War footage in the background. This was all captured from PlayStation onto my PC with no capture card, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that today and how to get the quality that we've got here. Hope it's going to be super useful. Let's do it. Okay, so to get this done properly, there's a few things you're going to have to grab and you're going to have to download. Number one, a version of OBS Studios or Streamlabs OBS. Doesn't really matter, it will work on both this method. Then we will need to get a version of PlayStation Remote Play, and I'll show you where to get that. All of that is free, and I would also suggest that you get a reasonably long USB cable for your PlayStation controller. All of this will become apparent to why in a minute, but those are the kind of things that you're going to need. Okay, so to get PlayStation Remote, just go to Google and type in PlayStation Remote Play. There you go. Now you'll need to find this for you can see on PC or Mac, so it's available on both platforms. And you click on that. I'll give you a little bit of an explanation. Here you go. We'll click on this. Download PS Remote Play is what you want app. So click on that. It'll take you to another screen. However this works for you, there we go. Just go through all the steps and eventually you're going to be able to download it. There's a whole lot of information there, so just download it like that. Next step, I suggested go to your PlayStation, go to settings, scroll all the way down to remote play connection settings and make sure it is enabled. Okay, so to get this to work on your PlayStation properly, you've got to understand the nature of what PlayStation Remote Play is actually doing. So it's giving you the ability to play remotely on other devices. So effectively it's a cloud or a server based application which is linking to your PlayStation, and then it is beaming or sending that signal from your PlayStation to the application. So very important that you understand that's how it works. So there's a few things that you need to be very aware of, given that effectively what you're doing is you're no longer playing on your PlayStation, you're actually playing on your PC using the application. So the best way for you to get that to work is to use a connection which is a wired connection. Sure, you can do it with Wi-Fi, but with Wi-Fi, the problem with Wi-Fi connections is that you will get interference for all kinds of other stuff around you in your home and maybe next door and whatnot. So to get the absolute most out of this, my suggestion is that you make sure that you're using a wired connection. With that wired connection, make sure that your PC and your PlayStation are on the same network. They've got to be on the same connection. You will have to have your PlayStation switched on for this to work also. If your PlayStation switched off, if it's fully powered down, the PlayStation Remote app will not detect it and therefore will not connect to it. So your PlayStation's going to have to be on. Now hopefully if you've enabled the remote option in your menu, then this should happen automatically. The next thing that I suggest you do is you've got to pair your PlayStation controller to your computer. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can either do it via Bluetooth and use the Bluetooth, or get a USB cable. And the second method is what I suggest. Get a USB cable that's quite long and plug it into your computer somehow. Now you can see by the footage here, I use a USB hub and I've got a fairly long cable to do that. But the reason I suggest you use a USB cable is it just means that the connection is going to be much more secure, much more stable. The Bluetooth connection can be interfered with and it can drop out at times. So if you want to make sure that doesn't happen, then use the USB cable. Okay, so once you've got the application installed on your system, launch it, and you'll have to go through a number of steps here. So welcome to PS4 Remote Play. Click on that. It will ask you to sign in with your PlayStation ID, so just do all the necessary there, and then it will bring you to this screen here. So confirm and continue. Select which PlayStation you want to do and link manually. So this may take a little bit of time to connect in that first time, and then you're going to see the screen, and it's going to see the splash screen of your PS4 or PS5 ready to go. Fantastic. So that's the most important step, is making sure that we connect this and it's all working properly. So for the next step, make sure that PlayStation remote is sitting in the background. It has to run in the background for this to work. You can't shut it down at any point on your PC. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to launch, whether it's OBS or Streamlabs OBS, it doesn't really matter. I'll show you both just to show that it works on both. Launch that, let that all kind of load up as it would normally do. And you'll come to this screen here. Now, what we need to do is we're going to add a new scene, and I'm going to call it PS4. There we go. Done. And now what you've got to do is add a source. So what you're actually looking for is window capture. Very important that it is window capture that you select. Click OK. And then there'll be a list there, and somewhere in that list, if the Remote Play app is running, you will see it, and you just select it like that. Resize it. So the best way of doing it is right click, go to transform, and then go to fit to screen. There we go. And there you go. You have basically set this all up, getting ready to go, and it should work no problem. Now, what I generally do is I'll just resize it so we get rid of that little bit on the top, like that, and just bring the sides in. If you don't know how to do that, I think for me it's Shift, holding Shift. It might be Alt on Windows. So I've added a few things into this. I've added an audio source. You may or may not have to do this, but effectively what I've added is a whole lot of things that you can overlay like you would normally do on OBS, using OBS. So I can have my webcam working like that. I can have my banner working. So you can do all your overlays as you would normally do. And yeah, you can just start recording, hit the record button, and away you go. So as you normally would. One thing that might happen when you are doing this is, and I'll just duplicate it now so you can see what it looks like. And I'm basically showing you the fix. You might see something like, let's see if we can do it. You might log in and you see a blank screen like that. And your remote play app is actually running in the background, but there's no picture. All you have to do is highlight the PlayStation, whatever you've called it, where the PlayStation remote app is in your sources. Right click and go to properties. And what you may have to do is just find that source again in the list. Click on that, and that should fix it. Just like that. So the very last thing I wanted to show you, and we're here in OBS Studios just to prove it works in OBS Studios as well, is the settings, and you will have to do a little bit of tinkering with your settings to get this to work properly. So what you'll have to do is go to your output, make sure advanced output mode is clicked, and go to recording. And you're going to have to fiddle around a little bit. This is for Mac, so you're going to have to fiddle around a little bit with the encoder settings. For Mac, I use the hardware encoder. I make sure that the output is scaled to what the video says, and I'll show you where that is in a minute, how to read that. And here is the most important, is the bit rate. Now, if you start recording and it's a bit choppy and a bit laggy, start playing around with this figure. I've got 45,000 kbps as the bit rate, and that works for me. Keyframe is 2, profile is high. Now, with the video, you have the output here, which is a scaled resolution. And I apologise for my son laughing in the background. I don't know what the heck he's doing. So this is basically your base canvas, which is what you're seeing. But this output scaled resolution is what you record it as. So make sure whatever that is set to there, it's duplicated here. And that's it. You should be able to hit the start record button and record your gameplay once you're into the game. So one last thing I wanted to show you, if this happens to you, if you've got it all set up and you get your login screen, what that actually means is you're using the remote control, sorry, you're using your PS4 or PS5 controller on your your PlayStation console instead of your PC, and it will disconnect you. So if this happens, make sure that you have a controller plugged into your PC. Remember earlier I was talking to you about the fact that you're actually playing using a controller that is connected to your PC and not your console. That caught me at a big time, and this loop goes on forever, let me tell you. I couldn't figure out what was going on, but it was because my controller wasn't plugged into my PC. It was actually plugged in to my console. So there you go, guys. You can get footage like this one that we're showing you on screen. No capture card required. A little bit of tinkering, a little bit of setup, but everything is free, and you can be capturing your gameplay, have all your overlays, and everything is good to go. Hopefully that's been useful. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time on the channel. See ya.